Hi, everyone. So I know if you're like me, you've seen or at least heard about the latest update with the Justin Baldoni Blake Lively case. And I just wanted to hop on here and talk about how it relates to independent filmmakers like myself. I'm a writer and a filmmaker. I make romantic comedies, grounded romantic comedies about Black women getting their happily ever afters. And they are universal and everyone can enjoy them. But I have made 2 feature films so far, and I've done a bunch of short films and TV pilots and web series, short and long form. And I've come to realize that the reason why a lot of people can't break into the industry is because I think a lot of filmmakers, once they find people who are good, they want to like cling to them, hold on to them because they are so rare. They're so few and far between that you just want to keep working with the same people. It's why Adam Sandler has the same 4 people in all of his movies, you know? It's like, I think if he could literally just have the same cast just starring in the entire movie, he would. But, you know, he has to switch it up every now and then, have like a different co-star here and there. But I get it because it is hard. This is across the board in any industry, right? Good people are hard to find. But the people that you hire on your sets, they can really make or break your film. I mean, just reading the text that Blake sent, how she was calling Justin a clown and saying he had no experience and basically lambasting, saying that, oh, he's a writer, director, producer, financier, studio head. Yes, all one person. You know, it's like very condescending. She did not respect him, and she thought that she knew better and that she was more equipped, better qualified. She didn't think he should have the job that he had, but she was happy to take his money, right? And I see this a lot, and I'm on like such a smaller scale than these people. I mean, I aspire to get to being able to spend millions of dollars, and a lot of the problems that I have had on my set, they stem from a low budget, right? And so people get a little bit dicey, or they're not all in or committed because they feel like they're not getting paid what they're worth, even though they took the job. You know, I pay everyone, and it's not always scale, but it's gone up. It's increasing over the years. And my hope is to be able to pay people what they're worth. But that's not a problem that, you know, Blake had and the other actors had on the set. And still you get these people who are, you know, they're jealous. They don't think that you have the right to be where you are, even though you've put it together. You know, she's like, oh, he's essentially not qualified to be doing all these things. Yeah, he did all those things. He bought the rights. He put the movie together. He produced the movie. Yes, he directed it. He acted in it. And it sounds like she kind of steamrolled him. And I get this. I understand this when an actor feels like they have maybe more experience on set and they're like, well, no, it should go like this. And I want to tell this actor to do this. If you want to do that, go and produce and direct your own movie. Don't come on someone else's set and then try to take over. It's just entitled, like bratty, just insufferable behavior, narcissistic, like all those things. And this is why when you find someone who's actually a team player, who, you know, their ego is not like out the roof, then you want to hold on to those people because you have your cast members like Blake turning the rest of your cast against you. You know, you can see through the emails that she was spreading to other people who weren't even involved with the project, like Matt Damon and what's the other guy, the guy that was married to J-Lo, Ben Affleck. You know, she was like poisoning the well. She was spreading these rumors about how much of a clown Justin was to everyone, all her A-list celebrity friends, and I'm sure other people, the executives and the like. And I'm sure that would affect his future work prospects. Like those people talk and word gets around, and then before you know it, like nobody wants to work with you because the person that you hired has poisoned and turned everyone against you because they didn't get their way. They felt like they, their vision wasn't like, it doesn't matter what your vision is. You're there to serve the script, to serve the director, to serve, like, if you are not the boss, then that is not your job to determine, like, the trajectory of the project, how it should be, who should be doing what. Like, that is not your job. And I just wish they taught us more in acting class or acting school, wherever these people are getting trained, because it happens all across the board. Apparently, I was thinking, it only happens like on my small sets, but no, it's happening on like these bigger sets. And of course, I'm not naive to think that like they're just people with huge egos and they're artists and they feel like they know everything. And if you are new, like Justin was, it was like his second project that he was directing. Maybe he was more like open. I could see that. Like obviously I don't know what went down, but I could see him like maybe not being as decisive, maybe not having like being able to verbalize like a clear vision and direct people in that manner. Maybe he was like, what do you think? Or I'm not sure. And then Blake, maybe who's used to working with a director who's like yelling and screaming and then puffing out the chest and like, not respecting that and say he's inexperienced and a clown and doesn't know what he's doing. And even if he doesn't know what he's doing, like you signed onto that project to serve his vision. It's not for you to determine like, okay, you don't know what you're doing, so I'm going to take over. I'm going to take the reins. And I guess so that this video is not just me ranting about how hard it is to find decent help. I mean, because like on my first film, I think I've said it before, one of my shorts, I really loved a lot of the people that I worked with. And I was just speaking with Kayla, who you'll see a video that we did. We were like having a film chat, and she was saying that one of her sets, so she did a short, she loved everyone, and that's so rare. Like every producer, filmmaker can sympathize. I was like, what? That's a rarity, because even on my first film, where I pretty much got along with everyone, there were some people that I was just like, why did I hire this person? And I'm sure that's Justin's thought every single day when the actors or the crew, they come to you and they're like, oh yeah, I'm a team player. And sometimes they don't even try to veil it. And so like, it's really your job to do your due diligence and look at like the people that they worked with and how many projects they've worked with before, and maybe check references or like have an interview and really feel their vibe and ask important questions that I will be asking moving forward. Like, do you see yourself as a director? Or what would you do in this situation if this were to occur? If you like felt that you wanted to take the scene in this route, and I were to say, I don't really thank you, but no thanks. How would you react to that? Like, you have to really vet these people, because once you get them, especially when it comes to actors who you can't really replace once you get them on camera, right? Because they have to kind of be there for continuity, for like the film to work. Otherwise you have to reshoot, and that's so expensive and costly. And so once you get them on camera, you're like stuck with them. So you just want to make sure that they're a good seat and not a bad seat. And it's the same with that crew. Thank God it's like to a lesser extent, because you can kind of replace the crew and it doesn't stop the entire show. But yeah, it's just, I find this entire case fascinating. I've been following it from the very beginning and trying to just take away lessons from it. And I've just, every film that I wrap on, I try to think about things that I could have done differently or what I've learned. And it's definitely important to vet the people, check their egos, see how they, because I'm like maybe jumping all over, but people will be jealous of you. They are jealous that you're doing all these things. And I can relate to Justin, right? Because I'm wearing all these hats in my projects. I'm acting, I'm directing, and then this. And maybe because I'm wearing so many different hats, I'm not like doing it all to the best of my ability, 100% in one area. You're spreading yourself thin. And it's something that I want to change. Like, I would prefer to have producers who are handling kind of all of the administrative stuff so that I can focus really on directing and I can focus really on acting. I mean, I'm always going to write my projects, but the goal is to produce other people's work. But for the time being, when I'm producing my own stuff, I get it. I totally get it. So I really feel for Justin. I don't think he's a saint. I think that a lot of people, we don't really know if, because people are like so two-faced, you know, they would be like, oh, it was a pleasure working with you to his face, and then be behind his back calling him gross and a clown and saying that they don't respect him, or like whatever the case may be. I'm going, my thoughts all over the place. But yeah, I do feel about Justin. I don't think that he is completely a saint. Clearly, I think he has good intentions. I mean, when I first saw him in that show, what was it? Was it Jane the Virgin? I thought he was like a little weird, you know, like something about him rubbed me a little bit the wrong way. But I think he has good intentions, and I think maybe he's like overcorrected, or he's. They said he was too fragile. I think he's like too woo-woo foo-foo for a lot of people. And some people, they get offended by that. They're like, oh, how do you have this toxic positivity? And he kind of strikes me as someone who you could accuse of being like toxic positive. Like, I would prefer that any day than a toxic set, which is kind of like the set, which is the kind of set that seems Big Lively would run, you know? So I just feel for him, and it seems at least that a lot of people are on his side. They've seen the evidence, they've seen the signs, basically pointing to what type of person that, you know, maybe Blake and Jenny and Isabella and Colleen, like what type of people they truly are. And a lot of people are rallying for him and want him to get justice, because it's mainly down to the fact that her lawsuit was alleged that he sexually harassed her, I believe, and through none of the text messages that we've been privy to do we see any kind of anyone alluding to that. They're just kind of saying that he's like in a cult and he's so fragile, and he's like, oh, you know, wants to be going out and saying hi to fans and narcissistic, you know, like this. These are your very weak arguments, you know what I mean? And it's not the same as sexual harassment, which is what she was accusing him of and suing him for. So that is why a lot of people are behind Justin, because you're really discounting true people who have experienced sexual harassment if you're just going around and throwing those claims against people and, you know, it's not true. You know, and especially since it seems like she has no evidence to back that up, it's just kind of like all the evidence that he has provided seems to discount whatever she's been saying. So that's why a lot of people have taken his side. It's not that it's like, oh, people just don't want to believe women. But you can't just believe people because of their gender. You have to believe them because they come with the receipts. They are actually claiming these are the things that went wrong. These are the things that happened, which is why I'm saying that I was sexually harassed or whatever. So I maybe have gone off on a tangent, but I just, especially coming fresh off, it's been like a month, so I've been able to kind of decompress. But working on the second film, I encountered not so many people, but people that I was just like, why did I hire this person? Like, I really wish I didn't hire this person. And we had to change personnel, and, you know, and it's just like, you need to follow your gut, because in one instance I was like, this person is rubbing me the wrong way, but their work looks okay, and I'm going to try to press on. And then turns out like it just fell apart because the type of person they were, it's just came to light and it was irrefutable. It's like, I cannot work I'm actually really, really glad that this didn't pan out, or things like that. Or I've had people try to kind of take over the set, like want to have their way or not do the things that I'm paying them to do, or, they want to like direct other people, direct actors, call the shots, just speak out of turn. And I think you have to kind of figure out a way, like your approach when that happens, but you really want to try to avoid it at all costs by being upfront about what you will not tolerate, what you do not want, and seeing how they react to it, and then determining if this is a person that you think you can get along with and work with. And my sets, I'm only filming for the last one was, I think, 12 days, 13 days. I don't even remember, 13 days. And the previous one was like 14 days. And then we had some pickups, so maybe it was 17. I don't remember at this point. But some of these movies, they are shooting for months and months and months on end. And you're with these people a lot. And you have 12-hour days. And sometimes you go into overtime. And so it's like any job where you have to see a lot of people. Thankfully, with this industry, at least, once the job ends, you can kind of go on about your business and you never have to see these people again if you don't want to. So at least that's kind of a good part of it. But yeah, I can only imagine on that bigger scale how difficult it has to be when you're working with people who are paying a lot of money, and they are really just corrupting your set. They're poisoning your set. They're spreading toxicity. They are turning people against you. They're whispering and behind your back, and like this. Ugh, that poor man. And he was working on this film for so long, so many years put into getting it together, and he was thinking, I hire this woman who has, the name, and it's going to like elevate the film. And the film made a ton of money, so they all made a bunch of money, but like at this cost. I think if it had been someone else in the lead role, that it would have made just as much money. I don't think Blake is the reason why that film was successful. Colleen Hoover had a very big fan base. They were going to support her no matter what. They were excited to see the film. And guess what? Justin is the one who got the film to where it was. He bought the rights. He, produced the movie. He got the money together. He got the distribution in place. He got all of that. And so he doesn't deserve to have someone come and steamroll him and try to rewrite the script, because in one of the texts she's like, oh, he thinks he's a writer. Yeah, he is a writer. You're a writer. Maybe it's like, if you want to be a writer, then you go write something. You're not a writer, are you? Like, you have just as much credits as he does, as much experience as he does writing. You're an actor, just as he was known for being an actor. He's probably directed more stuff than her. I don't really know the facts behind that, but that rubbed me the wrong way. Anyway, this video has gone on way too long. Thank you if you're still here for watching, and make sure that you subscribe and you like this video, and I will see you on the next one. Bye.